So on the topic of truth, there's your truth, right? There's your truth, and then there's my truth. And in the middle, somewhere, there's another truth. It might be really close to yours or mine. Heck, we might all be on the same page even sometimes. But the truth, really, it's whatever we tell ourselves it is. It really is. I mean, that's how people fool the lie detector test. They believe their own bullshit. You should believe your own bullshit as long as it's amazing bullshit, right? Like, tell yourself something amazing. Because if you're going to believe your own stories, make it an awesome story. Like, what is the story you're telling yourself about what you're capable of? I guarantee you're capable of more than you thought you were. I said that in 2018. I told people, be ready for 3 files a day for 3 days in a row. Can your systems handle that? Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. Geez, 9 new files in 3 days? I think I might lose my mind. And then what happened in 2020? Boom! Everybody wound up with 9 new files in 3 days, right? It just went nuts. And you survived, and you thrived. And not only that, you did even better in 2021 than you did in 2020, right? But in 2018, the mindset was, oh, I don't think I could ever get there, right? More people cracked 100 million in volume in our industry in 2021 than ever before, right? It's incredible. It's incredible. I think I put a slide in here somewhere, but I believe we will have the first rookie in 2022 break out and close 200 files in their first year. That's a thing that's going to happen. If it doesn't happen this year, it's going to happen next. There's a lot of good reasons for that. We'll come around to that. So truth. Those of you who've watched The Big Short, you know what's coming next, right? Truth is like poetry, and most people hate poetry, right? Now, personally, I love my poetry. I'd even read you some of it, but that's not what you're here for. And you like your truth. So, you know, it is what it is, right? Nobody wants to hear the other person's truth. Whose truth do you really want to hear? But on a bit of a different angle from this whole thing, let's think about the placebo effect. I mean, a lot of people are thinking about the placebo effect these days, the power to heal thyself, right? There's zero scientific basis for feeling any kind of pain relief or recovery. You've taken a sugar pill. You've taken the placebo in the blind study. You don't know you took the placebo, but you did, and yet you feel better. It makes no sense. But it's the story you're telling yourself, right? That's the science. It doesn't matter at all. You know, except when science does matter, because there is a time when science does matter. So our truth, ultimately, is all about how we feel. And how we feel, that's our truth, right? So what about logic? So let's go back to that whole fixed versus variable debate that we can never get away from, right? What about logic? Well, I mean, do you think rates will rise, or do you feel like rates will rise? Feelings plus fear, right? Where are we at with that? Logic lives on a spreadsheet. Like, logic is on the spreadsheet. You can look at the numbers, you can see it, you can think about it, but ultimately, how do you feel about it, right? And it's all about that emotion that lives in our hearts and in our minds, right? Absolutely. And decision-making, emotion represents what % of decision-making? What do you think? Right, this is where the audience would normally pipe up and throw some numbers out. And I remember at an event, this question was asked, and I yelled out, because I'm a loudmouth, 99%. Because I thought that was a pretty good answer. I thought there's at least 1% logic in there. That gentleman disagreed and said 100%, and I had to think about it for a little while. And he's probably right, you know. And I think I realized it on the weekend after that event, a couple weeks later, as I was unloading my 2-stroke orange KTM dirt bike from my silver Ford 4x4 truck, looking at my 4 buddies in their silver and gray Ford F-150 trucks, unloading their 2-stroke orange KTM dirt bikes. No. It's the best bike. No. That's the truck to have. It's just a fluke that we all arrived at the same thing. We're all just logical. We're all just logical. That's how we wound up there. Conclusion regarding the truth. I will say emotional things. You've already seen a little spark of it here or there that I believe to be 100% logical. Like you know where I stand on variable. Most of you know where I stand on variable, right? I will say emotional things that I believe. I believe there's logic, and so I get really emotional about it. You might resist due to your own emotions, believing you're 100% logical, right? And you might be the logical one. I might have it wrong. That's possible. I did have somebody say to me not long ago, you've been away from brokering for a while, you kind of missed that one. You know, I'm not that far away from it. I'm still pretty much eating and sleeping and breathing everything mortgage related, but yeah, I'm a little bit away from the front line, so there's a few little hiccups here and there. So look, the bottom line is, over the next couple of days, we may not always agree. We may not always connect. And that's okay, it's COVID. We're supposed to not stay away, we're not supposed to connect anyways. Bottom line is, there's not really a right or a wrong way to broker. There's 1,000 ways to die. There's 1,000 ways to lose a file. There's 1,000 ways to broker. There really is. I'm going to close off this thought and we'll go to our break on this slide. In fact, we'll leave this slide up for the break because it's just that good. I think about this all the time. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, but in the expert's mind, there are few. And that is why those 11 $100 million producers are here. That is why we have somebody tuned in who's been brokering for 33 years, because they have that beginner's mind and they realize there's more opportunity. There is. I just might have one nugget that will help them do an extra little bit of business next year. More importantly, for those $100 million plus producers, save a little bit of time, remove some work from their day-to-day lives.